The video didn't just go viral, it detonated. Within hours, one man's kindness became a mirror, reflecting every injustice people were tired of swallowing. And while the world lifted Jamal up, someone in the shadows was already planning to tear him down. Because the restaurant wasn't the only place where the truth had enemies. This is untold justice, where ordinary people become the spark that exposes everything. Jamal Ortiz didn't have much, but he tried to make sure no one around him felt that. He'd grown up counting coins on the kitchen table with his mom, deciding whether it'd be rice and beans again, or nothing at all. So when he finally landed a job as a waiter at Lucas Prime, the fanciest restaurant downtown, he treated it like a blessing. Polished shoes, straight tie. Yes, sir. Right away, ma'am. Smile. Even when they snapped their fingers instead of saying his name. He needed the money. Rent. His mom's medication. A little extra for his younger sister's school books. The restaurant had rules. Strict ones. No free food. No discounts without a manager's approval. No disturbances that might make rich customers uncomfortable. And there was one rule the manager repeated more than all the others. If they don't look like they belong here, don't let them in. The manager's name was Mr. Carter. Gray suit, perfect hair, eyes that scanned people like price tags. To him, Jamal wasn't a human with bills and a family. He was a uniform, a body that carried plates. And that's why the day everything changed, Mr. Carter didn't see a test of character. He saw an opportunity to remind everyone who held the power. It was a slow Tuesday afternoon. Sunlight spilled through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Soft jazz played under the clinking of crystal glasses. Jamal moved from table to table, refilling water, resetting cutlery, thinking about how many hours he'd have to work to cover his mom's next appointment. Then he saw him. A man standing just inside the door. Clothes worn, beard rough, shoes broken at the seams. A homeless man. Conversations dipped. Eyes rolled. Someone near the bar muttered, "Seriously?" The hostess looked frozen. The homeless man held his hands up gently. "I'm not here to cause trouble," he said softly. I haven't eaten in 2 days. If you have anything left over, even scraps." The hostess glanced toward the manager's office like it was a lifeline. Jamal felt his chest twist, because once, that had been him. Standing outside diners, smelling food he couldn't afford. Before his brain could talk him out of it, his feet were already moving. "Hey," Jamal said quietly, walking toward the man. "Come with me." The room shifted. Whispers like knives. Jamal led the man to a back corner table, the one nobody liked because it was near the kitchen door. "What's your name?" Jamal asked. "Luis," the man replied, eyes glossy with embarrassment. "You don't have to do this, son." Jamal shook his head. "Yeah," he said gently. "I do." He went to the kitchen, heart racing, grabbed a plate, loaded it with roasted chicken, vegetables, fresh bread, food that would have been thrown away at the end of the night anyway. When he set it down in front of Louis, the man's hands shook. "God bless you," Louis whispered. "No one's looked at me like a person all week." What Jamal didn't know was that at the table by the window, a young woman with braids and a denim jacket had her phone out. She'd started recording the moment the homeless man walked in because she'd seen enough videos to know how this usually went. She wanted proof. But what she captured was something different. Kindness. And then, the punishment. The manager strikes the door to the office slammed open. Mr. Carter stormed out, jaw clenched, eyes burning. "Jamal!" he snapped. "In my office! Now!" The whole restaurant went quiet. Jamal's stomach dropped. He glanced at Louis, who froze mid-bite. "It's okay," Jamal whispered. "Finish your food." He followed Carter into the office. The door shut like a verdict. "You mind telling me what you think you're doing?" Carter's voice was low, dangerous. "Feeding a hungry man," Jamal replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "That hungry man," Carter hissed, "is not a paying customer. This is a fine dining establishment, not a charity." Jamal felt heat rising in his chest. With all due respect, sir, we throw out food every night. He just asked. Carter slammed his palm on the desk. We have rules, and you broke them. In front of customers. Jamal swallowed. Sir, I'll pay for the meal. Take it from my check. Carter stepped closer. This wasn't about the money. It never was. Do you know what people like him do? He sneered. They come in, they linger, and before you know it, we've got a line of them at the door. You bring one in, you invite the rest. Jamal's hands curled into fists at his sides. People like him, he repeated slowly, are people. Like us. Carter's eyes turned to ice. That's your problem, Jamal. You think you're like our guests, but you're not? The words hit harder than any slap. Take off your apron, Carter said coldly. You're done here. Jamal blinked. Sir, please, I need this job. I help my mom. Not my problem. Turn in your uniform. You're fired. Jamal walked out of the office, numb. The restaurant staff avoided his eyes. He took off his apron slowly, fingers shaking. Lewis watched from the corner, food untouched now. What happened? He whispered as Jamal passed. Jamal forced a smile that never reached his eyes. Enjoy your meal, Mr. Lewis, he said softly. That's all that matters. He placed the folded apron on an empty table and walked out with nothing but his car keys and the ache of being punished for the one thing his mother had taught him never to ignore. A hungry person. In the far corner, the girl with braids put her phone down slowly because she hadn't stopped recording. Not when Jamal brought the food, not when Carter dragged him into the office, not when Jamal walked out with that broken look in his eyes and the homeless man stared at the plate like it was cursed. She had all of it, and she wasn't about to let it go. That night, Jamal sat on his bed in the small apartment he shared with his mom and sister. He hadn't told them yet. How do you tell your family you lost your job for being the kind of person they raised you to be? His phone buzzed. 1 notification. Then 3. Then 10. Then 50. He frowned and opened his messages. His cousin had sent a link. Yo, this you? Jamal tapped it. A video opened. Blurry at first, then sharpening into a scene he recognized all too well. Lewis walking into the restaurant. Jamal approaching him. The plate of food, the confrontation, his firing. The caption read, He fed a hungry man. They fired him for it. And the view count? Already past 200,000. Jamal's chest tightened. He scrolled through the comments. This waiter is a hero. I know that restaurant. I'm never eating there again. How are you going to punish kindness? Does anyone know this guy's name? We need to help him. His hands shook. He clicked his notifications again. This time, there were hundreds, strangers asking if he was okay, people offering money, journalists asking for interviews. His mom knocked softly and stepped into the room. Baby, why are people sending me this video? She whispered, holding up her phone. Jamal looked at her, eyes filling. I lost my job, Ma, he said, voice cracking, for feeding someone. She sat beside him, taking his hand. You didn't lose, she whispered. They did. Before he could answer, his phone lit up again. This time, with a different kind of message. A verified account. Blue check. Name he recognized from the news. Jamal, my name is Elena Cruz. I run a national platform for workers' rights and justice. I saw your video. Call me. Your life is about to change. Jamal stared at the message, heart racing. Outside, the city moved like nothing had happened. But online? His story had just exploded. No name, no emoji, just a threat. And down at Lucas Prime, Carter opened his email and froze. Subject line, Urgent, viral video, corporate wants answers. His phone rang, head office. His hand shook as he picked up. The first words he heard were, Why did you fire the only person in your building who understands customer service?
Jamal got fired for feeding a hungry man, but the manager didn't fire a waiter. He ignited a movement. Because overnight, millions of strangers decided they weren't going to let kindness become a crime. And the man who tried to silence Jamal? He was about to learn, you can't bury the truth once the world starts digging. Jamal barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard Carter's voice calling him someone who doesn't belong. Every time he opened them, his phone lit up with comments, tags, and reposts. By morning, the video had crossed 3 million views. His name was everywhere. His sister ran into the room breathless. "Jamal, you're on TV, right now." He rushed into the living room. A reporter was speaking. This viral video shows 28-year-old waiter Jamal Ortiz offering food to a homeless man, then being fired immediately after. Public outrage continues to grow. Then the camera cut to Louis, the homeless man, standing in front of a shelter, eyes full of emotion. Louis whispered into the mic, "He didn't just give me food, he gave me dignity, and they punished him for it." Jamal swallowed hard. His mum put her arm around him. "Baby, you did nothing wrong." His eyes stung. "I just didn't want him hungry." At 10:12 a.m., Jamal's phone rang. Unknown number, but this time no threat. A calm but powerful voice spoke. "Jamal, this is Elena Cruz." Elena Cruz, the founder of Voices Rising, the biggest workers' rights platform in the country, 10 million followers. Endorsements from senators, known for shutting down corporations that mistreated employees. Jamal sat up straight. "Eleanor, I didn't think you'd really— Oh, I meant every word in that message." Her tone sharpened. "What happened to you isn't just wrong, it's illegal, and we're going to hold that restaurant accountable." Jamal's heart raced. "But I'm just a waiter." "No," Eleanor said firmly. "You're the man who reminded the world what kindness looks like, and people are listening," she continued. "We're holding a press conference at 2 p.m. I want you there, and Jamal, bring Louis." Jamal blinked. "Louis, why?" "Because the world needs to hear his voice too. Sometimes justice speaks loudest from the one people tried to ignore." Mr. Carter wasn't sleeping either. He was in the boardroom, sweating through his suit as corporate executives stared at him like he was a stain on their carpet. The CEO slammed her notebook shut. "Carter, we trusted you to manage our flagship restaurant." I was enforcing policy," Carter stammered. "He fed someone who wasn't a customer." The CEO leaned forward. "Someone who wasn't a customer, or someone you didn't think deserved respect?" Carter's face reddened. Another executive held up a printed screenshot of the viral video. "We've lost 7 sponsorship deals in 12 hours, 30,000 reservation cancellations. Your actions cost us millions." Carter's voice shook. "So, what happens now?" The CEO gave him a cold smile. "Oh, you'll find out. But first, fix this mess. And pray Elena Cruz doesn't get involved." A voice from the speakerphone said, "She already is." Carter's blood drained. The steps of City Hall were packed. Reporters, cameras, crowds holding signs. "Feed people, not profits." "We stand with Jamal." "Kindness isn't a crime." Jamal stood behind Elena, palms sweating. Louis stood next to him in clean clothes as shelter donated. Jamal whispered, "Why are there so many people?" Elena smiled. "Because truth travels fast, but injustice travels faster." She stepped up to the podium. Microphones clicked on. "This is not just about a waiter being fired. This is about what kind of society we want to live in, where compassion is punished or where it's protected." The crowd erupted. Then she turned to Jamal. "Jamal Ortiz is here today because he believes one simple thing. No one should be hungry." Jamal stepped forward. His voice shook at first. "I didn't feed Louis because I wanted praise," he said. "I fed him because he needed it. That's it. Kindness shouldn't cost you your job." Reporters surged with questions. One asked, "Jamal, what do you want right now?" Jamal inhaled slowly. "I want the restaurant to apologize, and I want Louis to be able to walk into any place and be treated like a person." Louis wiped his eyes. The crowd cheered. As the press conference continued, Mr. Carter shoved his way through the crowd, red-faced and shaking. "Jamal!" he barked. "You can't do this. You're making things worse." Eleanor stepped directly in his path. "Oh, look," she said calmly. "The man of the hour." Reporters swarmed him like bees. "Mr. Carter, is it true you fired Jamal for helping a hungry man? Did you break labor laws? Why did you threaten your employees about who belongs?" Carter stammered, sweating. "This is being blown out of proportion." A reporter yelled, "Is it also true your staff received messages telling them not to speak about the incident?" Carter froze. Because that was true, and someone had leaked the emails. Eleanor tilted her head. "You wanted the world to think Jamal was the problem. Turns out, you're the one who needs explaining." The crowd murmured. Carter backed away. Jamal stood taller. For the first time in his life, the power wasn't in Carter's hands. It was in the truth. Hours later, when the conference ended, Jamal sat on a bench with Louis and Elena. "Jamal," Elena said, "you need to know something." She handed him her phone, an email open on the screen. The sender, Luca's Prime Corporate Office. Subject, "We want to meet." Jamal blinked. "They want a meeting?" Eleanor nodded. "And not just an apology. They want to negotiate, compensation, policy changes, your job back, if you want it." Jamal's eyes widened. "Me? Why me?" "Because," Eleanor said softly, "you became the face of what they tried to silence." Louis squeezed his shoulder. "You saved me, son. Now the world wants to save you." Before Jamal could respond, his phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. He sighed. Probably another threat. But when he opened the message, his breath caught. It wasn't a threat. It was a video file. No text, no name. Just a clip. He pressed play. The footage showed Mr. Carter in the restaurant office, counting envelopes of cash, talking to someone off-screen. "As long as the staff stays quiet, the inspectors will never find out how we handle the leftovers. Keep the donations fake, and if anyone questions it, fire them." Jamal's heart stopped. This wasn't just about him. This was corruption. And someone inside the restaurant wanted him to know the truth. Elena leaned over Jamal's shoulder, eyes wide. "Jamal, this is evidence," Louis whispered. "Someone's trying to help you." But Jamal's phone buzzed again. Another message from the same unknown number, this time just one sentence. "If you show this video, someone at the restaurant won't make it out alive." Jamal looked up slowly. "Who is sending these?" he whispered. Eleanor's face tightened. "I think," she said, "we're dealing with someone bigger than Carter." Louis grabbed Jamal's hand. "Son, you're in danger." Jamal's phone buzzed again. A third message, 3 chilling words. "We're watching you." The video didn't just expose corruption. It exposed a hidden war inside the restaurant, one Jamal never knew he walked into. Because the moment he pressed play, he stopped being a fired waiter and became the one man holding evidence that powerful people would do anything to bury.
The room felt colder. Jamal stared at the 3 words on his phone. "We're watching you." Louis's hand trembled on his shoulder. Elena moved closer, eyes sharp and calculating. "Jamal," she whispered, "whoever sent this isn't panicking. They're warning you." Jamal swallowed hard. "Warning me or threatening me?" Elena held his gaze. "Both." She took the phone and replayed the video. Mr. Carter counting money. Carter whispering about fake donations. Carter calling it waste management, while pockets were being filled behind locked doors. Elena's voice hardened. "This isn't just workplace abuse. This is corporate fraud, a charity scam, potentially criminal misappropriation." Louis exhaled shakily. "In English, ma'am." Elena looked at him.
"It means Carter was stealing food meant for shelters and firing anyone who asked questions." Louis's eyes watered. "That food could have fed men at the shelter, like me." Jamal felt something burn inside his chest. How long has this been going on? Eleanor shook her head. Long enough for someone to be terrified of you exposing it. Eleanor checked her watch. I need to take this video to a legal partner I trust, but Jamal, you need to lay low. Jamal frowned. Lay low? Why? Louis answered for her. Because when people steal money at this level, they don't play fair. Elena nodded. And Carter isn't your only enemy. He has allies, and I guarantee one of them is the person sending you messages. Jamal felt a chill. You mean someone inside the restaurant? Elena sighed. Yes, someone who knew exactly where to find you and what video to send. Before Jamal could respond, a loud knock rattled the apartment door. 3 sharp hits, too firm, too precise. Louis froze. That's not a neighbor. Jamal's pulse spiked. Elena motioned them back. Don't open it. Another knock. Jamal Ortiz, a male voice called. This is the city compliance office. We need to speak with you briefly. Elena's eyes widened. No, absolutely not. They never show up without notice. Louis whispered. What if it's about the video? Eleanor shook her head. No, it's about scaring him into handing it over. The knocks grew harder. We know you're inside. Eleanor grabbed Jamal's arm. Get your phone, get your jacket, back door, now. Jamal blinked. Are we running? Yes, she said, because whoever that is, they're not here for a conversation. They slipped through the back of the building, moving quietly down the fire escape stairs. Louis whispered, This is crazy. Why would a restaurant go this far? Eleanor didn't stop moving. Because Carter wasn't working alone, it takes a network to steal at this scale. Jamal pressed. Who else could be involved? Eleanor hesitated. Vendors, drivers, inspectors, maybe even someone in the charity partnership. Louis muttered, or someone higher. Jamal squinted. Higher? Louis sighed deeply. Carter wasn't the man in charge, not by the way he talked to the other managers. There was someone else, someone he feared. Eleanor paused at the bottom of the stairwell. What was the name? Louis shook his head slowly. He never said it out loud, but sometimes he'd slip. Jamal leaned in. What did he say? Louis swallowed hard. He'd say, I hope the boss doesn't find out. Not our boss, the boss. A shadow moved near the alley entrance. Eleanor shoved them behind a dumpster. A man in a black jacket walked slowly across the alley, looking around like he was searching for someone. Louis whispered, That's the same man who watched the shelter last night. Jamal's blood ran cold. They're following you too? Louis nodded weakly. I think they're watching anyone Carter talked to. Eleanor hurried them into a small office building behind a locked security gate. This is one of our activist safe spaces, she said. No cameras, no tracking. No one outside the organization knows we use it. They entered a dim office with stacks of files, 2 chairs, and a buzzing light. Jamal sat heavily. I didn't ask for any of this. Eleanor placed a hand on his shoulder. Heroes never do. Louis sank into a chair, exhausted. What happens next? Elena pulled out her laptop. We upload the video securely, we send it to every major news outlet, we prepare Jamal's legal defense. Jamal exhaled. And Carter. Elena looked up. He's not your biggest problem. Elena opened her inbox. A new unread email sat at the top. No sender, no subject, just an attachment labeled List of Names PDF. Elena's brow furrowed. That's strange. She clicked it. Jamal and Louis leaned in. The document opened, a list of employee names. Stop now or he dies. Jamal whispered, Who are they talking about? Eleanor looked at him, horror in her eyes. Jamal, they mean your brother. The brick wasn't just a warning, it was a countdown. Because the moment Jamal saw that note, stop now or he dies, he realized the fight wasn't about the restaurant anymore. It was about blood, family, and a brother he thought he lost years ago. but who was now chained to the same darkness Jamal uncovered. The shattered window hissed with cold air. Eleanor grabbed Jamal's wrist before he could panic again. "Jamal, listen to me," she said, voice firm. "They want you rattled. They want you emotional. That's how they win." But Jamal wasn't hearing her. His chest heaved, his thoughts spiraled. "My brother?" he whispered. They have my brother? How? Why?" Louis stepped forward gently. "Jamal, start from the beginning. What happened with your brother? Where is he?" Jamal's voice cracked. "He disappeared 3 years ago. He struggled with money, got into some trouble. One night he just never came home." Eleanor exchanged a grim look with Louis. "Trouble?" she repeated softly. "What kind of trouble?" Jamal closed his eyes. "He worked at a warehouse." Louis and Elena froze. "A warehouse?" Elena whispered sharply. "The same warehouse Carter's group uses." Jamal nodded slowly. "That's why this feels wrong, because the last time my brother texted me, he said he saw something he shouldn't have." Louis whispered, "Oh God, he got caught." Eleanor grabbed the laptop again, scrolling through the list of missing employees. There it was. Elias Ortiz, marked M, missing 3 years ago. Eleanor whispered the name. "Elias Ortiz, Jamal. Is that your brother?" Jamal nodded, eyes burning. "He's alive," he whispered, voice shaking. "He has to be. They wouldn't threaten me with someone dead." Elena gripped his shoulders. "Then we find him." Louis stepped closer. "But how? These guys are ghosts, shadows. You don't just walk up and ask for someone." Eleanor turned away, thinking hard. "They took your brother for a reason. They marked you for elimination for a reason. That means," she turned back, "you're a bigger threat to them than you realize." Jamal blinked. "What do you mean?" Elena paced. "Your brother worked inside the warehouse operation. He saw something. Something big. Big enough they needed him gone." Louis added, "And now you have the video. You're following the same trail." Eleanor stopped pacing. "That means whoever took Elias is the same person behind Carter." Jamal swallowed hard. "The real boss." Just then, a car door slammed outside. Eleanor moved fast. "Lights off." Louis dragged Jamal to the wall. Footsteps approached the safe house door. Slow, heavy, intentional. Someone knocked. 3 calm taps. Not Carter, not Reeves, not someone panicking. Someone powerful. Someone who didn't need to hide. Eleanor signaled for silence, but the voice outside cut through the room like ice. "Jamal Ortiz, we need to talk." Jamal's heart stopped. He knew that voice. He stepped forward instinctively, but Eleanor blocked him. "Who is that?" she mouthed. Jamal whispered, "That's my uncle." Louis's eyes widened. "Elijah Ortiz," Eleanor whispered, recognizing the name. Jamal nodded. "He's always been strict, private." Eleanor's voice dropped. "Jamal, your uncle is a regional logistics executive." Louis froze. "Logistics? Like shipping? As in the warehouses?" Jamal's breath fractured. The pieces snapped into place. Elena's eyes filled with horror. "Oh, God," Louis whispered. "Your uncle is the boss." Eleanor didn't waste another second. "We go out the back, now." But Jamal grabbed her arm. "No, I need answers. If he has my brother, I need to know." Louis whispered frantically, "Jamal, think. If he's the boss, he's dangerous. He's not here to talk. He's here to shut you down." Eleanor pulled Jamal close, voice trembling with urgency. "Listen to me. Men like him don't show up personally. He is the top of the pyramid. If he's here, it's because he knows you have leverage." Another knock. More patient, more certain. "Jamal," the voice called, "I'm not leaving until we speak." Louis whispered, "This is bad, bro. This is real bad." But Jamal shook his head. "If he has Elias, I can't run." Eleanor stared at him, then sighed. "Fine, but we do this smart." She handed him a tiny device. "Press this if anything goes wrong. We'll break in through the back and get you out." Jamal pocketed it. His legs were shaking, but he stepped toward the door. He unlocked it. The door creaked open. His uncle, Elijah Ortiz, stood there, tall, imposing, sharp suit, cold eyes, no smile, no warmth. "Hello, Jamal." Jamal swallowed. "Where is my brother?" Elijah stepped inside. "You're in over your head, son." Jamal's voice cracked. "Where is my brother?" Elijah didn't blink. "He's alive." Jamal flinched, breath shattering. "But if you want to keep him that way—" Elijah continued coldly, "You'll hand over the video." Jamal froze. "How do you know about it?" Elijah smirked. "I know everything." Jamal felt his body shake with rage. "You're behind all of this," he whispered. "The fraud, the threats, the disappearances." Elijah's eyes flickered, not with guilt, but irritation. "Your brother made the same mistake you're making now. He forgot his place." Jamal stepped back, horrified. "You kidnapped him." Elijah shrugged. "I protected the family business." Jamal clenched his fists. "You ruined our family." Elijah stepped closer. "No, son. What ruins families is when people forget to stay quiet." Jamal whispered, "I'm not staying quiet." Elijah smiled. "That's why you won't survive." He reached inside his coat. Jamal panicked. But instead of a weapon, Elijah pulled out a phone. He pressed a button. A video feed appeared. A dark room. A man tied to a chair. Weak, bruised. Elias. Jamal gasped. "Elias!" His brother lifted his head weakly. Jamal, don't." The screen cut off. Jamal's heart broke in half. Elijah lowered the phone. "You want him back?" he asked calmly. "Give me the video. Walk away from this and forget everything you think you know." Jamal stared at him, fear, rage, and heartbreak mixing into something explosive. "I'll never help you." Elijah's face hardened. "Then you've chosen your fate." He turned to leave, but before he stepped through the door, he said softly, "You have until midnight. After that, your brother disappears forever." The door shut. Silence swallowed the room. Louis and Elena rushed in through the back. "What happened?" Elena whispered. Jamal stood frozen, broken. "He has Elias," he whispered, "and if I don't give him the video, my brother dies." Eleanor shook her head fiercely. "We're not giving him anything." Louis whispered, "Then how do we save Elias?" Jamal looked at the device Eleanor gave him. His voice hardened. "We do the one thing my uncle never expected." Eleanor frowned. "What's that?" Jamal looked up, fury replacing fear. "We go public, tonight." Louis gasped. Eleanor's eyes widened. "That will expose him. That will put a target on your back." Jamal nodded. "I know." Eleanor paused. "Jamal, this could cost you everything." Jamal clenched his fists. "If I stay silent, it costs my brother his life." Midnight wasn't just a deadline, it was a death sentence. Because when the clock struck 12, Jamal wasn't just fighting for justice, he was fighting for blood. And the moment the live stream started, the power shifted. Not to Elijah Ortiz, but to every person watching the truth unfold. This is untold justice, where corruption falls loud and family is the fire that burns through lies. The clock on Elena's phone read 10:43 p.m. Elijah had given Jamal until midnight, just over an hour to decide between his brother and the truth. Elena paced the room like a storm contained in human form. "We need a location with strong Wi-Fi, safe angles, and escape routes," she muttered. "We go live from my office, secure, encrypted, and close enough to reinforcements." Louis checked his camera gear. "We're really doing this, like live streaming a confession from the most dangerous man in the city." Jamal lifted his chin. "We're not confessing, we're exposing." His voice was steady, but his hands trembled. Louis noticed. "You scared?" Jamal swallowed. "Terrified, but fear is the only thing that kept Elijah in control. Tonight, it ends." Elena's office was dark except for the glow of the monitor. Louis angled the camera just right, close enough to show Jamal's trembling eyes, far enough to keep the safe house location hidden. Elena pressed record. 3, 2, 1. She hit go live. Jamal inhaled sharply. The red light blinked. Comments flooded instantly. "Where's Jamal? We missed you, man. Bro, what happened with the restaurant? Why does he look scared?" Jamal steadied himself. "My name is Jamal Ortiz," he began softly, "and tonight I'm putting my life on the line." Louis whispered, "Good, man. Keep going." Jamal held up the phone Elijah showed him, the last screenshot of his brother tied to a chair. "This is my brother Elias Ortiz," Jamal said. "He's been missing for 3 years. I thought he was dead, but tonight I learned the truth." Chat exploded. "What? OMG, is he alive? Who did this?" Jamal continued, voice steadying. "He disappeared after discovering illegal activity at a warehouse. He reported it quietly. He tried to do the right thing." Jamal lifted a file, the police report Louis and Elena had dug up. But instead of justice, he was kidnapped. A gasp rippled through the live stream. "And the man who took him," Jamal said, "the man threatening to kill him tonight, is my uncle." Louis zoomed in. Jamal whispered the name like poison. Elijah Ortiz, the real head behind the warehouse thefts, the real boss behind Carter's operation, the real man behind every threat, including the one made on my life. The livestream exploded in all caps chaos. Eleanor mouthed, "Perfect, keep going." Jamal leaned closer. 11:47 p.m. Louis's eyes shot to the window. "Car, coming in fast." Eleanor grabbed her phone. "No one knows this location." Louis shook his head. "Someone does." The headlights cut through the building's blinds like blades. Jamal kept talking, the camera still rolling. "Corruption thrives in silence," he said, "but we're done being quiet." A bang rattled the door. Eleanor whispered sharply, "They're here." Another bang, louder. Louis placed a hand on Jamal's shoulder. "We need to move," but Jamal shook his head. "No, I finished this." He turned back to the camera. "If I disappear after tonight, just know—" Crack. The door flew open. A silhouette stepped in. Tall, cold, unhurried. Elijah Ortiz. Elena gasped. Louis stepped backward. Jamal froze, breath caught in his throat. Elijah's voice sliced the room. "Turn it off, Jamal." Jamal stood slowly. "No." Elijah took one threatening step forward. "I warned you," he growled. "I told you what happens when you cross me." Jamal didn't blink. "And I told you, I'm done being afraid." Elijah lunged. Louis shouted, "Watch out!" Jamal ducked. Elijah grabbed him by the collar, snarling, "You think a live stream protects you?" Jamal looked him dead in the eyes. "No, but 150,000 people watching do." Elijah froze. Slowly. He turned toward the glowing screen behind Jamal. Comments poured like a waterfall. "We're calling the cops." "Jamal, run." "Somebody trace his location. Help is coming." Elijah's face cracked. He wasn't in control anymore. The entire world was watching him. Elena stepped in front of Jamal. "You touch him again," she warned, "and this becomes evidence of assault on camera." Louis lifted the camera higher. "You're finished, old man." Elijah twitched, anger rising like fire inside him. "You think this ends me?" He reached slowly into his jacket. Jamal flinched, but Elijah didn't pull out a gun. He pulled out his phone. "Every one of you," he hissed at the trio, "is dead when this ends." But before he could dial, a voice came from behind him. "Drop the phone, Elijah." Elijah stiffened. He turned. Elias Ortiz, bruised, weak, but alive. Standing in the doorway with 2 police officers. Jamal's legs buckled. "Elias," his brother nodded. "I escaped." Elijah's face twisted with pure disbelief. How did you—" Elias lifted the broken zip ties in his hand. You underestimated the wrong Ortiz, the officers stepped forward. Elijah Ortiz, one announced. You're under arrest for kidnapping, extortion, and organized theft. Elijah roared and tried to run, but Louis tackled him to the ground. The live stream audience erupted. 12:08 a.m. sirens surrounded the building. Officers swarmed inside. Elijah Ortiz was led away in cuffs, screaming, spitting, his empire collapsing like wet paper. Mr. Carter was arrested the next morning. Multiple officers connected to Elijah were fired and charged. The warehouse operation shut down. And Jamal? The live stream hit 5 million views in 12 hours. He was hailed as a hero, a man who risked everything to expose corruption. Elias walked out of the hospital 3 days later, alive, safe, free. Elena hugged Jamal hard. You did it! Louis slapped his back. You really did it, man. Jamal exhaled, tears slipping down. No, we did. He looked into the camera, the final shot of the entire saga. Family isn't about blood, he said softly. It's about who stands beside you when the whole world tries to make you disappear.
He lost his job for doing the right thing. But that wasn't the real story. The real story started when a homeless man walked into a fancy restaurant, and the only person who treated him like a human got punished for it. What the manager didn't know was that someone was recording, and by the time the video hit the internet, it was too late to erase what he'd done. This is untold justice, where the people they try to silence end up with the loudest voices. If you believe kindness should never cost someone their livelihood, tap subscribe and stay with us. Because what happened to this waiter? It didn't end with, "You're fired."